All right, let's. Hey, there we go.
Clicked on the wrong link.
You're an audience in your own show. Hey, we got all kinds of stuff that happens. Yeah, this is tech right here. This is like real stuff right here. So, man, good to see you, Gio.
You too,
Good
my
to see
man.
you. I know you're out there spring break, right? You're saying.
Yep, out visiting family in Toronto, so still working, but taking that time to be with family.
Love it. Love it. Hey, so yeah, I've sent out an audience link out here. I don't know if anybody will show up. I'm not even sure how they show up in here. So I'll watch the chat. If someone's out there audience wise, I don't even know if I can see the audience because I haven't done that part before. So if you are out in the audience, give a thumbs up or something in the chat that says I'm here, and we're making this something that the group they can come in and help guide the conversation and you know I don't think we can hear the applause. It's not like that kind of studio. But hey, and let's go with it. And so, welcome everyone. We're back. We've decided this time, 8 o'clock every Friday Eastern time is the time that we're going to jump on together with Whiskey Gio and yours truly, Mike Mac. And I appreciate you, my brother. It is awesome, and it's telling me I could go live. I don't know what that means. I get all kinds.
We're recording, and we got somebody in audience.
There you go.
Let,
Is
let,
that what
we're
it's saying?
learning as we go. You know, last week was an intro as to who we were, but now we're gonna start deep diving into some topics
You bet.
and really being able to offer some guidance.
Right
I
on.
will add the little disclaimer. What we offer is not legal advice, it is coaching. I want you guys to be very clear on that for the simple reason that everyone's matter is different, everyone's situation is different. And if there's anything that we're going to offer general guidelines on how to act throughout, these difficult times that you're going through. But if there's any particular, that's where attorneys step in. That's where, you really want to get that advice from a lawyer on how to proceed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to add that this group is about us as coaches. Both Gio and I are coaches. We're in the group to serve. We're not in the group to sell. I just want to make that point that, and if you're also a coach out there listening to this, come to us first, because we don't want the group to become, that's not what the group is about, to look for clients. That's not what we're about here in this group. It's about support. And Gio and I, we both have servant's heart. We want to help you, you know, go across the bridge that we've built. And that's why we say, and we're coaches. Hey, we've been through the muck. Isn't that right, Gio? I mean, it's
Absolutely. And, we're there to help. And I really like these two topics that we're starting with today.
ooh, let's hit us
All
with
right.
them. Let's go.
So the two topics that we're hitting today, first one is block her, and the second one is shrink your circle.
There you
All
go.
right. And these two topics, seriously, guys, they're gonna be difficult, but you have no idea at what point it is going to help you move forward. All right.
So blocker. Let's. I'm old school. I'm an old guy. So and my divorce 20 years ago that was pretty rocky. We didn't really have that capability. So this is like back, early thousands when I was going through it in the divorce storm. So are you talking about, blocking her on social, your phone, your mind? What are we talking about when we say block?
We're talking about anything social media related and also communication. Because, so first things first, if the relationship is over, and obviously there's parts of you that still loves her, there's parts of you that still wants to see what's going on, block her from social media, because all you're going to do by seeing her posts is stab yourself in the heart.
Torture.
Right? Because there's a couple of ways of looking at it. Either she's going to post knowing you're seeing this shit and it's going to, she's trying to intentionally break you, or She's just moving on with her life, whether or not she cares about you seeing it, but you're going to see it and it's still going to affect you.
Right.
And blocking on social media also includes telling your friends to shut the fuck up. Because here's the thing, blocking means nothing if Tommy's going to text you and be like, did you see what your ex
Did you-
posted on social media? Like, no. And the whole point was for me to, unless it's like something major that, you have to get it. But in 99.9% of the cases, when I got divorced for the second time, actually in both divorces, I blocked my ex on everything. I was smarter the second time around, where it was, and we're going to talk about shrinking your circle later, but I told those around me, I don't want to know what's going on. I blocked her for a reason.
Right. The
And
block
I
is
made
on.
it very clear, if you're going to play news reporter, I'm going to block you.
I was just gonna say, I block for a reason. I don't need any reports, and you just said news reporter. I don't need any reports about what's happening. I mean, we're on the same page here. I mean, that's genius right there. That just doesn't that help, like the mind, the heart. I mean, there's a healing process that needs to happen, and having that stuff that you see and you just take up so much space in your mind, and it confuses the heart, and you get lost. You just
And healing hurts. Mike, healing hurts, right?
It does. It's a
But
wound. It's
allowing
just like a
yourself to
physical. I
get
mean,
the
I'm glad you said that, Gio, just for a second, because it's a wound. It's just like a physical wound. Not too long ago, I sliced my finger on the slicer at work, and
Mhm.
it bled like a what. And that thing hurt for while it was healing. It still hurt a week later. When I bang it on something, healing hurts.
Yeah.
Yes,
And continuing to see her posts, all it does is it removes the band-aid and you start playing in it.
you start picking at it.
And I've never seen somebody go, oh my God, it's so much fun to play in an open wound. It isn't.
It's not, man. It's not.
And listen, to the brother who's listening to this and is like, oh my God, I have a hard time like blocking her. I know it's painful, but the healing process hurts. And what happens is looking at her posts is going to hurt. Not looking at her posts is going to hurt. The difference between the two is not looking at her posts is going to allow you to start healing.
Yes.
Release her with love, allow her to live her life. And now here's the curveball, because I know a lot of brothers are going, yeah, but she's talking shit about me.
I was just gonna go there.
Let her.
Yep.
Let her.
And then
Don't argue. Don't defend yourself, because there's two types of people in your world when we talk about shrinking your circle. There's those that are going to believe in you and be by your side. And then there's the sheep that'll listen to anything. And the sheep that'll listen to anything, you don't want them in your life anyway.
especially if they're bringing up the drama. You don't need the drama. You don't need the
I,
BS.
I've had it. Like, public bringing down of my name. Fine. When when I think of who could possibly be reading these posts or watching these videos, it's nobody in my circle. It's nobody that has an impact on my life,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
And
So
go ahead.
I just a quick thought. When you've got kids involved and now you've dropped off, and I think I know the answer here, but when you've blocked her on social media, you're not talking about blocking her totally like on your phone then, right? So
If
because what you're
needed.
doing on your phone is a private conversation with her. So you've got kids and you're co-parenting. Can you walk me through that? Because you're not blocking her totally here, right? Am I thinking correctly?
So there's the blocking on the public stuff, right? Now, if you don't have kids together, blocker total.
Right. Yeah, there's
Blocker
no
total.
reason. There's no reason there. Yep.
If you have to maintain contact for co-parenting reasons, you only answer the co-parenting text. Because what can happen is those late night texts. I miss you. It's this, it's that, it's whatever. And then no matter how sweet or how harsh you are in your response, it ends up being fodder for the next social media post.
Absolutely.
And I learned that lesson the hard way not too long ago, right? Because I'm a coach, but I'm human, I'm not perfect, and I got
Hey,
feelings.
exactly.
And I know what happened because somebody broke the rule and reported it to me. But that communication spun out into a social media post. And people are like, well, what's going on? I'm like, I don't care. I'm not answering. But I've also blocked out the communication that leads to that.
And this is gold right here with Whiskey Gio, gold. And when you say whiskey, I can just see me getting a little too much whiskey and going unblocking her and just going crying my eyes out. And I mean, how do we keep from doing that, man? I mean, I could just see me just getting into the drowning myself in some kind of drink, and then can you speak to that any?
It's
We're human, right? I'm just saying there might be guys, and I could see myself doing this. I do.
at the end of the day, you have to choose you. And how you deal with that is personal to you. We hear these things about going dark for a month, focusing on you. To me personally, my avenue is I love my work. I'm blessed in the work that I do. So I do more of it. But the more important thing is the gym and how I eat, because that is what fuels me to stay strong, to be able to move forward, to be able to keep clear of mind. Because you got to look at yourself like a car hitting the road, right? Or a truck hitting the road. If you
I just
don't
wanted to
maintain it,
real
if
quick.
you put
We've got
shit gas in it, you're not going anywhere.
exactly. Kevin just in the chat just said great advice, and I'm not sure exactly where he. I just saw a chat come up, so it's our first like woohoo! Look at that. We've got a live audience out there, and we've got somebody
Kevin
that said,
broke the ice.
Kevin, thank you, thank you. I don't know how to do all this because I got this computer screen and stuff pops up, and so. But man,
We're
Gio,
learning
I
as we
mean, I
go,
think
but
I know, right? It was step by step, and that exit, oh, what you just said, you're hitting my heart. You know you
and
are.
here's the thing. How many times do we see brothers talk about the financial hit of a divorce? It's nonstop. But here's the thing. You can find a gym for $15 a month
Or 10.
or 10. You can modify what you eat to be healthier.
You can choose what you put in your mouth. I was told that one time, and then that one phrase, you can choose what you put in your mouth. I mean, I was a truck driver and was up there over 400 pounds, not taking care of myself. Okay, I've been there, and I did the roller coaster thing and the diets and the fads and all this. And at the end of the day, you choose what you put in your mouth. You choose to block her. I mean, I love this because it all kind of ties together because you've got to block out the sugary, nasty, preservative filled foods if you want to be healthy and have food as fuel rather than food as a crutch or an addiction or something to feel better with. And so, man, we are like two peas in a pod here, Gio. I didn't know how much we align because we don't even talk outside of these podcasts. I mean, we text back and forth a little bit, but you know you just have to, like Kevin just said, you got to take it day by day, and sometimes it's moment by moment, and we choose it.
It's exactly that. And, it's all in your choices. And think about it for a second, guys. It's a whole new chapter of your life. So, hitting the gym, eating healthy, reading, doing whatever it is that's positive is going to make you a better and stronger man. And here's the thing, don't do it to show her the man you've become. You do it for you. You do it to reset your boundaries, to set your limits so that as you move forward in life, whether it's professionally, personally, socially, whatever the case may be, you are at the best version of yourself. But that starts with blocking what causes the pain. And Kevin said it, do it yourself, you'll feel better. but there's always going to be that part that's going to want her. And guys, I will go to my grave saying that, my second wife was the one. Circumstances happened that we couldn't be together. You don't have to hate the person. You don't have to hate the person despite what they're trying to do to hurt you, because hurt people hurt people. Listen to that again. Hurt people hurt people.
And we've probably done it ourselves. When we get into a spot, I mean, when I was hurting after my first go around with divorce, I hurt a lot of people around me. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. And you've got to be able to see truth in this. You just got
Yeah.
to.
And the more that every day gets a little bit better. Every day gets a little bit better. It's a long road, but the more that you avoid what it is that she's doing in her communication, her life, and it's just the better it is for you. And it's so simple. It's so simple. It's complex because it's a no-brainer. She's out of my life. I'm going to block her. I shouldn't miss her, but I do. And
But you
it's
do.
normal.
It's just like, yes, exactly.
And we have this impression of, I'm a fucking idiot because I still miss her. You still loved this woman at a certain point. No matter how bad it ended. Did she call the cops on you? Did she serve you with divorce papers? At a certain point, you loved her and you believed. And that is the most beautiful thing on earth in my
I was married to my high school sweetheart, and we had a ton of great memories, and ton of great kids too. I mean, it's just, oof. Yeah, so I mean, it's simple yet complex. I love that. I
And
love
we're
that.
going to do a ton of posts about blocking, about moving on, about cutting communication.
Oh, absolutely. And we probably have some guides. This episode right here will be, could easily be put into a guide in the group to help be a resource for these
Well, it could
brothers
be an entire
that come up.
series. It could be a book. It could be a goddamn movie.
It could be. You got that right. You
You
got
know,
that right. Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
it's the simplest thing to do, yet the most complicated thing to do, and the thing that hurts the most. But at the end of the day, you're going to end up thanking yourself when you pull that move, and stop paying attention to her and start paying attention to yourself. It's the greatest gift that you can give yourself.
Yeah.
And here's how I segue into the next point. In order to do that, you have to shrink your circle and only have people that are going to truly support you.
Ooh.
So here's the thing. In
Ooh.
divorce, right? Who gets the house? Who gets what goods? Who gets what retirement account? Who gets the kids? Here's one thing we rarely ever talk about. Who gets the friends?
Hmm.
My personal opinion. My personal opinion, when there's a breakup, I cannot share friends. I will never feel comfortable going to a friend's house, especially during the beginning where the pain is there, knowing that they are talking to the other side.
They have not blocked her, or they've
You know?
reported. Once they report to you about something, you know where you stand with them, right?
Yeah. So for me, as I went through everything, I decided who was going to be my army.
Ooh. Yeah.
I sat down with friends and I'm like, I need to know if you're in or out. I need you in my corner.
That's gold right there. That's
Which could
gold.
be just as hard as blocking somebody, because it's like, I got to tell my guy friend that I need him in my corner. Get the fuck out of here. No, you need to tell your boy that you need him in your corner. It's no idea. But, it's, you have to, and, Kevin, who I love it, is popping in the comments, cut out mutual friends and unfollowed them from social media. It's important, because I need to know that those that I speak to are able to understand what I'm going through and can be there for me. The exception is my 75-year-old godmother who barely knows how to use Facebook but uses it. I visited her this week. I'm like, we got to remove a couple of people. And she was good with it because she understood, right? But she doesn't know how to use the technology. But when you shrink your circle, in my first divorce, I always say my ex got my uncle in the divorce.
Say that again. Your ex
My ex got my uncle in the
got
divorce.
your uncle.
She got custody of my uncle because they
Gotcha.
stayed in contact. She was friends with his wife. Okay, fine. But I looked at my uncle and I'm like, I can't come over to your house Friday night knowing that she's coming over Saturday. I don't feel safe. But you can trust me. Yeah, right. That's the same way as when we meet somebody new and she's got a male best friend and she talks all about him. And it's like, but he's like a brother to me. Yeah, bullshit.
I mean, what you're talking about here is like it's almost, and I'm gonna, you know, me and the metaphors and think. I'm thinking this is a lot of like dead weight. And there was a time I was driving through an ice storm and I had a ton of ice I was carrying. And it wasn't freight. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't in my trailer. It was not intentional. But when I got to the truck stop after the ice storm, I got on the scale because I was curious about how much I was carrying. 20,000 pounds of ice had accumulated on my rig. And this, what we're talking about is, you know, you're wasting, I wasted a lot of fuel. That's a lot of extra poundage. It's hard on the frame. It's hard on
Mm-hmm.
everything. You know, I was afraid that maybe the weight on the mirrors might break a mirror off or something, you know, just, but that's the toll that happens sometimes is having, you know, it's just like that ice storm and all that extra weight, that dead weight that I was carrying. Kind of the similar thing here. What we're doing by shrinking our circle is we've got to leave some of that stuff. It's just like when it melted and started coming off. We need to start knocking those chunks of ice off and get back to where we can move on down the highway with purpose, with the very thing that we can do ourselves. And wow, Gio, this is really, for me, it's hitting home. It's hitting home for me in a huge way.
And here's the thing there's two kinds of people in this world. Those who, when you're going to look at them and say, I need you in my corner, are going to be like, dude, it's normal. Then you have those that are like, yeah, but we could be friends with both. No, no. It's what's going to happen is you're going to realize at a certain point that those that you cut out never needed to be in your life in the first place.
It's going to take a little while to get there, though, isn't it?
But I forget who it was on social media. There's a video that rolls around. He's like, all you need are 3 friends and you can take over a country. All you need are 3 solid motherfuckers and you can take over a country. And I love that video. And every time I see it, I repeat it like 100 times before I move on because it's true.
Isn't it?
You don't need more than that. And the more that I move on in life, I'm like, I got 3, 4 boys in my corner and I don't have time to plan things with anybody else.
Right.
And when we talk, like it's these deep conversations and, you know, and if you only get one, then all you need is one. Because that one is true. That one is in your corner. That one is, you can talk about what you need to talk about and get through life.
Especially if they've been through the fire, right? I mean, when they get you, these kind of bro, I don't know, you call them bros or um, they just, woof, they get you and they've got your back. It's like it's just like a trucking convoy. You know, if you've not been a truck driver, you don't understand how powerful a convoy can be. And if you've got only two, you got yourself and one other buddy that's going along, that's still a convoy because when one of you breaks down and has a problem and you got to pull off to the side of the road, guess what he's going to do?
He's going to pull off with you.
He's going to pull off with you. And he might have tools, he might have knowledge that you don't, that says, hey, I've got this. And here, let me go get my toolbox. I help you out and get you back. Oh, I got an airline that I can hook to your air compressor and we can get this tire filled back up and plug the tire or whatever the situation. I've had it happen, you know.
Yeah.
And so
And, you
and
know,
that right there, I call this brotherhood a convoy, and it really is, guys. It
It
really
is.
is.
And taking it a step further, I used to have 1,500 Facebook friends,
Mm,
right?
yep. I'm
Gave
almost
me,
there.
I had an audience. I had an audience who loved seeing all the ups and downs. Now I'm down to 125 Facebook friends.
There you go.
It's either family, my circle, or guys that see me in groups like ours and decide to add me, and that's it. And when I'm at 125 now, I even hyperventilate because it's too much. Because you don't need that fabricated attention that social media gives. Don't.
That's wow. Just say that again because I think we've got some brothers in the group that need to hear this because we get posts all the time that it seems like they want to showboat or they want to, do it for the attention.
Because they want to do the reverse of what the girl is doing, right? So the girl is posting about her life. So now we're like, well, I'm going to post about my life so that she can see that I'm great without her. Shut the fuck up.
Damn
It
straight.
doesn't matter. I used to be that guy that go to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning, post my workout, make myself a monster breakfast, post a picture of my
Post.
breakfast. I'm a great cook, right? So I make this beautiful, elaborate supper, take a picture of that, go out in public, take a selfie. Now it's like, I don't do any of that. And what I've realized is I have more time to get involved in a group like this. I have more time for my career. I have more time for my son.
Powerful.
I have more time for the genuine connection that I have with the guys that are in my corner. And that to me, when I analyze my life now, there's so much power in having removed all of the distractions. And I've learned to shut up and listen to life and the
Shut up
beauty
meaning
that it's brought me.
like you're in your mind, like shutting off, like is that what you're talking about when you say
Stop trying to chase garbage and listen to life and I'm going to share a little story, okay? And I'm not going to get political, okay? So I'm Canadian from Montreal. I work with law firms in the US as an independent contractor, so I'm allowed to travel to the US because I'm a contractor, I'm not an employee of my clients, so I'm allowed to travel. 3 weeks ago, I was blocked from entering the United States because they believed that I was an employee and not an independent contractor, so I didn't have a visa. Long story short, sent back home. Fine, we adjusted. I'm working on it. I have an immigration attorney that's working on my visa and everything so that everything can get cleared up. Initially, I was incredibly pissed.
oh, I bet. I
But
bet.
but then I decided, you know what? What if life is sending me a message? So this past week, I was supposed to be on spring break in the US with my son, showing him Washington, D.C. Instead, it allowed me to be in Toronto visiting my family
With your son still, right?
with my son,
Right.
and I was able to give a little bit of support to my godparents, help them out as they're getting older and this and that. And I realized I'm like, I would have never had this opportunity if I would have been allowed to cross the border that day. So life slowed me down because I had a purpose of helping out family this week. And as I'm doing this, I'm talking to my immigration attorney, and everything is on the right path to try and get back in. There's a reason for it. But if you surround yourself with too many damn distractions,
You're not going to ever find it. It's just like when I had that rollover accident 2 years ago. I spent almost a year struggling until I started then helping other divorced dads. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, man, if I were still trucking, I couldn't do this.
Mhm.
It's very similar. I had to, I didn't really do it the way you're talking about, like quiet the voices, but I did start doing some praying, some meditations, and then allowed me to think that. And then all of a sudden, I was so thankful that it's kind of weird to say, I was thankful for that rollover that changed my life.
What you just said is very powerful in the sense that you didn't do it my way, but everybody's way is different. Everybody gets to that point in a different
Yes,
way. Everybody gets to that point, you know, it's painful to get to that point. You had the rollover. I've had a life. I've had a life. All right. But I understand what my calling is. Life brought me onto that path. And as we do these shows and as I start doing more posts, you guys are going to get the very raw, in your face version of me and my story, because I know that my story can inspire. But
raw and
at the end of the day, when you allow yourself to listen to life and you remove the distractions, everything gets better. And
absolutely
for those of you going through divorce, going through separation, the two first big points are stop looking at what she's doing.
blocker.
Because either she's living her life for her and she's genuinely happy, great, be happy for her. Or she's doing it to bring you down, don't give her that power.
Beautifully said.
Remove the distractions from those who are around you who just want to get news so that they can be like, you see what's going on in Gio's life? Ha ha ha, oh shit. Those who hate me, there's a line that goes around the block, down the street,
I bet.
across the river, across the ocean. That list is long. The people who are on my side don't even get to the end of the driveway. I don't give a fuck about about the other line. I don't, because they're not going to make my life better.
You choose. You have the power in that to choose what that inner circle is going to be. You just do.
And
Man, Gio,
that is what's going to get you through all of this.
absolutely. In a huge way. I just want to mention, and I think I've said this before, 20 years ago, I did it solo. I didn't have a convoy. I didn't have a therapist. I didn't have a confidant. And I don't want that to be the case for these men coming into the group. That's why I want this group to be support and help for these guys coming in. I don't want it to be about selling. I want it to be about service.
Absolutely. And, you know, some topics that we're going to cover in future shows, like we're going to go through everything, you know, how to pick an attorney, recommendations for that,
Awesome.
you know, how we'll touch on these topics again in different forms, how to get healthy, how to get stronger,
Yeah, we're also
how
going to
to
do
be confident. It's
some
all
of my
mindset.
stuff too. We're going to start talking, and I think Gio probably has already have gone through some of the trainings before. I don't even know what trainings Gio has been through, but just talking with him, I know he's had some great mentors in his life. I'm assuming that. I know
Hmm.
I've got some, and I love the mental part. I'm kind of consider myself a mindfulness type of coach that says, hey, let's look at this, because when your perspective changes, guess what happens? You can change the way that you think. And so that's
Where your focus goes, your energy flows.
exactly.
You know, and everything that we're going to talk about, and it's true in everything. When we talk about picking an attorney, when we talk about how you want to proceed, when we talk about, you know, what do you want to fight for, you know, there's so many guys that I hear talking about, well, I'm never going to get custody of my kids. Fantastic. It's never going to happen for the simple reason that you don't believe it's going to happen.
You don't believe it. You don't see it.
It's a snowball effect, right? I'm never going to get custody of my kids, so I'm not going to invest as much in a lawyer. So I'm not going to make the necessary requests. So I'm not going to make the necessary battle. And then what happens? You don't get custody of your kids.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, because that's
But
what
if
they're
in your
saying.
mindset is, I'm going to battle my first divorce, I was making 40 grand a year. Divorce cost me 100 grand. I put some values to the side in order to make that money, but I made that money. And I made sure that my attorneys were paid. And today I have shared custody of my son and I have the best possible relationship. Why? Because I had a never say die attitude.
Excellent. All right, now we're out to 38 minutes on this recording, and I know we're starting to just being real here. So we've
Well,
we've
let's
covered we've covered blocker. I love it. Blocker is like huge. I didn't when you first sent me that text, I was like blocker, what? Okay, because I wasn't thinking about all that went into it. But as we had this discussion, thank you, Gio, for helping me see how important blocker, just simple 2 words, blocker. And I love how
Yep.
you do some of your communications, Gio. It's like 2 words. When Gio sent me the message, I don't think it had more than 10 words in it about what we were going to talk about today. Blocker was in there, and the other one was shrink your circle, I think, right? And shut the fuck
Yep.
up. I think that's what the other one was. And I'm like, it took me a minute to process it, but I was like, yeah, let's combine these. Let's do it. So
So, as
fantastic.
we bring this to a close, I do want to give a special thanks to Kevin. And Kevin, you wrote thank you for this. If we can impact one person's life, then the podcast has been absolutely worth it. So just seeing
Yes.
Kevin's reaction, I'm hoping that those who are going to listen to this and watch this are going to feel the same way. But we're going to start working on episode 3, picking our topics for next week, next Friday at 8 a.m. If there's anything that you guys want us to discuss, message us, put it on a board somewhere. We're going to build a list
For the
and we're
group.
going to get through it. And if the list gets so big that we have to do 2 of these a week, then we'll do 2 of these a week. But guys, for the love of Christ, block her and choose your army.
And I want to say we can also bring other folks on. We can expand this to bring someone like, and I'd like to get involved with Kevin. He's got some great comments, and it sounds like he's been through the fire. There's always a chance to come on. I did a recording not too long ago. I think it was Wednesday with Vincent, just a private recording. He said, and I said, is it okay if I share this? He says, absolutely. So Gio may not even know that because he's been on spring break. But hey, I mean, we had a great conversation, and that's what this podcast is all about helping each other, knowing that we're not alone, being the convoy, so man, let's go. Let's go to grow, as I say.
Let's go to grow, baby. So everyone, have yourselves a blessed day. Mike, love you, brother. Appreciate it.
Love you too, bud. All right.
And we'll see each other on the